Let's go. Oh my gosh. Am I fired up to be here? Hyped Happy Hour. I am Gentle Tornado, and I am your host on this magical journey. I created a company called Live Hyped. Hyped is an acronym that stands for happiness, inspiration, positivity, enthusiasm, and dreams. And if you look down the bottom left of my logo, there's an H with a heartbeat in the middle because we never know how many heartbeats we have in this life. So I am committed to making positivity louder, to make every moment count. And today, on episode 45, we are joined with an absolute legend, a humble dude, a hardworking dude, the smile that'll light up a room. Andy, dude, how are you? The president of Veefriends. Andy, how are you?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you for that nice intro. I was bummed I couldn't hear the theme song playing while you were jamming it, but you got me fired up, and I always appreciate the positivity, enthusiasm, and just doing what you do, man. So thank you for having me on.
Let's go. Listen, that was the first time I've used a windowed mode to share, so maybe nobody heard it and I was just jamming myself. That is going to be even funnier. So it's a banger. So we're riding. Listen, the first thing we start off with is what we're grateful for today. So what are we grateful for?
I am grateful for the health of myself and my friends and family and the people that I love, and yourself included.
Let's go, dude. I love it. I love it. Listen, so on the Hyped Happy Hour, we bridge the gap between amazing Web3 people and personal experiences. And so I love to find out who's behind the PFP or who people are. And so the way we started off is a 2 to 5 minute, origin story of who's Andy, like how did we get here? Tell me about like your childhood up to now, to now being the president of Veefriends. I want to hear it all.
Let's see. I'm going to try to go some different routes, knowing that maybe some people have heard a little bit of my origin story of tweeting Gary and interning for him. But I am the youngest sibling of 2 older brothers. I have 2 stepsisters as well. I'm the youngest in my family. I always loved sports, basketball, anything to do with the ball. I wanted to be involved. Baseball, football, soccer. Originally grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Then moved to Northern Virginia, where I spent most of my days. And then I went to Virginia Tech. At Virginia Tech, I learned of this wine guy making wine content on the internet named Gary Vee. I didn't like wine at the time that much, and I wasn't a New York Jets fan, so I didn't think much of him other than I thought he was really using the internet in a contemporary and strategic way to grow his wine business. Followed him online, and then after I graduated school, I started traveling abroad. I taught English in Thailand. I coached basketball in China. And I started meeting all these digital nomads, people making money online through the internet, creating WordPress blogs, AdSense, different ways to monetize attention. And lo and behold, I was scrolling on Twitter and I found this guy, Gary Vee, recording a selfie video with like a dark hoodie on, talking all this shit about how he was going to build the biggest business in the world and he was going to do it right in front of you. And he doesn't care who says what. He was just going to be authentically himself and build businesses, and really resonated with me. And I was thinking of building an English learning app at the time, actually, because it really struck me. I actually got to learn Thai pretty well. And Thai is it's a hard language, but I learned it through context and just practicing. And I was teaching students who had been studying for 18 years, and I spoke better Thai than they did English. But it's because the English they were learning was in textbooks that it says like Charlie goes to the trolley, and there's no Charlies around and there's no trolleys around. Meanwhile, they were really using Twitter and Facebook. And so I was coming up with these concepts of like a social media English learning game app. Anyways, I quickly realized I didn't know what I was doing and I was going to need a lot of help to figure out how to get there. So I wanted to learn from someone that I thought was going to be able to really teach me business and entrepreneurship and how to build a large successful company. So I saw a tweet from Gary one day asking what I could do for you, and I just tweeted him a chance to work for free. And that was almost 10 years ago, 9.5 years ago. He responded, told me to write him an email, and he responded to my email 3 months later. Then I asked how little I was willing to work for, and God bless my brother, he was in New York City, so I knew I could just crash on his couch, and I said I would work for free. And showed up to Vayner's offices with a suit on. I'd never been in New York City really before. I showed up with a suit on. The guy at the front desk was wearing flip-flops and shorts. And I stuck out like a sore thumb. I was a little embarrassed and shy. But I saw Gary that day, and actually, first thing he did, as you might imagine, came up to me, shook my hand, said, "It's a real pleasure to meet you. Happy to have you. Why don't you come join me in my next meeting?" And he just wanted me to listen. And I was like starstruck. I mean, this is 10 years ago. He only had 8,000 Instagram followers at the time, not 10 million, but he was still a really big deal. And I'll give myself credit that I really believed that his message would resonate in the ways that it has. He wasn't just a marketer. You know, I thought his messages would impact lots of different demographics and psychographics because it's universal truths. Anyways, he was actually filming a video for Dr. Oz about how to overcome a hangover, and Gary proceeded to chug pickle juice, and that's how I first learned that pickle juice is actually a remedy for a hangover. Anyways, over the course of the next eight years, I learned Facebook ads when they first came out. I learned how to think about digital video creation on social platforms, specifically Instagram and Facebook, and then YouTube. And I've been at the whirlwind center of the tornado for the last 10 years in VaynerMedia and the growth of paid advertising on social media.
Dude, let's go. How did the transition from that go to Veefriends? Like, how did that, tell me that story, like how you went to Veefriends.
Yeah, it was interesting timing where after 8 years working for Gary on his personal brand, I really wanted to level up my own craft in terms of just business and business operations. You know, growing business. Gary's brand is really a brand play. Like, we're not looking to ever monetize his brand. You know, of course, there's a lot of economic activities that spur from the growth of Gary Vee through VaynerMedia, VaynerX, VaynerSports, his public speaking. But aside from that, it's just value oriented. You know, I'm just spent 8 years thinking about how could I bring the gentle tornadoes of the world value through filming them every day and dissecting that and putting it out across different platforms. And I told him that, like, I wanted to do something different. He and I had actually talked about maybe starting a sneaker company. And I was a little weary about sneakers because sneakers are fucking hard. Like, I was thinking maybe more beanies, or he had this concept of workplace warriors that we had shut down right when COVID hit. But regardless, I was like, I'm in. You know, I had the relationship that I had with him where I could tell him, like, I wanted a different career path a little bit and know that he would be all in with me. And that it was something I wanted to continue with him. I just didn't know what it was. And then he said he needed me for another year. Probably 4 weeks later, he texted me, like, you need to start learning everything you can about NFTs. And that was January 2021. So I'm literally on YouTube Googling, like, what is Ethereum? What is Bitcoin blockchain? You know, I was familiar a little bit with blockchain and Bitcoin, but I really didn't know much. So I spent, you know, I was just like everyone else, spent all my hours in different Discords, learning, listening to podcasts. And then one day in April, I guess it was, he said we were going to go to Malibu for a week, and we were going to create Veefriends. He was going to draw his ass off. He was going to come up with a bunch of characters, and then we were going to just concept the utility and value of this NFT company. And it's been no looking back ever since.
Yeah, I bet it's been one of the most wild rides ever in your life.
For sure. You know, specifically, I would say, like, launching Series 1, May 2021, which we were delayed by, which was that was that was a pressure cooker in and of itself. It took us 21 days to sell out, which is a fun fact. Like, 21 days.
I got my Veefriend 1 on the 21st day.
Let's go. Well, what'd you mint?
I got a balanced beetle, a rare one. Yeah. Absolutely love that fucker.
Were you just watching and, like, you were able to get the funds and you saw that it was still there? Or?
So I didn't know anything. So November of that year, I saw Gary start talking about, like, crypto, and I was like, okay, like, I probably should pay attention, but, like, dude, I just had my second son. I was like, we were so overwhelmed. I was like, dude, I'll come back. Like, Gary will keep talking about it. Well, then in April, I was like, fuck, like I've gotten, my son's about 6 months now. Like I probably need to like see what's going on, right? We're balanced now. And so then I bought ETH, right? I was like, whatever Gary's doing, I'm going to do it. So I did a little bit of research, right? Probably about 20, 30 hours. I was like, I'm going to buy one. I told my wife, I was like, hey, I'm going to buy one of these. She knew how much I loved Gary. And, it took like fucking 15 days or something to get my ETH to my fucking wallet from Coinbase. And it was half an ETH, right? Cause I was like, I can only afford a core right now. Well, then all the cores sold out. So I was like, yo, like, I literally am buying another $2,000 because it was $4,000 ETH. I'm buying another $2,000. I have to buy one, right? And it literally, my funds transferred on that last day. And honestly, like on that last day, like there was still pretty good amount of time. Like I was eyeing them and I was with my wife. I remember we were upstairs in the loft and I was like, I don't know which one to get. And the balance beetles just resonated with me so well. And I knew I wasn't going to, I mean, I'd never planned on even thinking about selling it. But I was like, I picked one that I truly loved. So it was wild.
Balance beetle is a good one. Balance is a temple of how I think of Gary's success, and I think anyone's success at that level. He talks a lot about pulling from opposite spectrums. Speed and patience is a good example. Like how do you do that? Or just like the bravado and the ego and the confidence, but also the extreme humility. It's like finding the magic and going to the furthest endpoints of all these attributes. And to me, that's what balance beetle means.
No, I absolutely love it. And I agree with you. And it's kind of funny, right? Because like gentle tornado, right? Like tornado is the absolute opposite of being gentle. And so like that together is the ultimate balance of who I want to be as a human. And so it just fucking like all worked out. It was wild. And
I love it.
Yeah, we're fucking riding. Listen, let's get into it. So I love your background story. So what we do is we go word by word within hype. So we start out with happiness, but I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to read you my favorite definition of success. It's by Ralph Waldo Emerson. So it says, to laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition, to know that even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded.
Beautiful.
Have you ever heard that before?
I haven't.
What'd you think?
It's facts. It's profound. I think it has a lot of examples with the enemies or the friends, or just a lasting impact on one person that I think is extremely truthful.
Yeah, I love it. I love to read it every single episode because like it has nothing to do with financials or material things. It's literally just about the different things within life that you can truly, when you leave an impact on someone's life, it's like when they nail that home, it's like, yeah, like, I mean, it's the truth for sure.
100%.
What first question under happiness is, what makes you happy every single day?
Putting smiles on other people's faces, knowing that I'm there for other people. And I get the most joy, selfish joy and pride out of creating something. It could just be a concept. It could be a tweet. It could be a strategy, but knowing that I had an impact on creating a narrative or an idea that wasn't yet there really scratches my itch.
That's awesome. What is the coolest thing to you that you've ever created?
My life.
Yeah.
Is
this journey?
Yeah, my journey. And I don't mean that like in a corny way, but I have gotten to a place to be really comfortable in my own skin, because I think a lot of my doubts or insecurities coming out of high school and into college, kind of my teen years, I realized were actually some of my greatest strengths and upbringings, and it made me the person that I was, and I just take great pride in that. Being like from a single mother with two brothers and myself, it's 100% shaped who I am. And I just love and relish that, and I wouldn't change a thing for the world.
Let's go. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think the journey is everything. So it's beautiful to hear you say that. Definitely not corny. This question's fun. what is the happiest moment of your life so far?
The happiest moment of my life so far. Man, I could give like specific instances, but really it's anytime I know that I've made my mom proud. You know, like graduating college for her was a big deal. Coaching, I coached basketball in high school, and my team lost the championship, but that always sticks out with me. Becoming a teacher in Thailand and like just having a really great time and being successful in there was a big deal. And then of course, my journey to be the president of Veefriends was also a pretty big deal.
Oh, that's sick. How long were you in Thailand?
A year.
This is just this crazy experience.
Yeah, I mean, I was in the most remote area in the country. It's called Nan Province. You know, I mean, there's not many people speaking English at all. You know, I was the only foreigner in a large vicinity, so I was forced to try to learn the language, understand the culture, and through that, I really learned a lot about myself. You know, when you're put in a position where you all of a sudden become 4 years old again, and you have to rely on your native instincts, you really learn what you're capable of and how far you can take yourself. And through that, it was like a whole rediscovery process.
That's badass. That's so sick. Are you involved in like, do you have any other NFTs that you like the community? Are you involved at all in any other communities that you hold, maybe that you've held forever that you like?
I have a CryptoPunk, so that means a lot to me. That was actually my first NFT.
Wow.
I took a loan out. My mom gave me a loan actually to buy a CryptoPunk. That's a fun story. But aside from that, generally, I just root for a lot of other projects because I know them. I know the founders. I know the artists. So I root for them. I'm trying to think if I would name drop one specifically. I mean, all the things, all the cliche ones like World of Women, Cool Cats, Creature World. I love Danny Cole. But for the most part, I'm just focused on Veefriends, you know, and that's sort of the balance that I always find is I'm so in it, trying to operate and build and grow Veefriends, where I still need to allocate the time or have someone else within Veefriends be allocating the time to give me the cliff notes of what's happening in the space, so I'm not losing my touch with what's breaking, because every day it's new, yet alone every week. Like if you're not caught up on the latest and greatest in Web3 on a weekly basis, you will fall behind quickly.
Oh yeah. If you take an entire week off, it's literally a different world. Like I actually like, I don't
we
know.
don't make royalties anymore. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been a wild few weeks, so I'll just say that to say the least. How does like as you being like the head and you're basically the president of Veefriends, like how does it feel to be around the community? Like what was it like being at VeeCon for you? You know, and just seeing like, you know, I think the energy of VeeCon was just a good example of like, holy fuck, like this is a crazy community. And I think that translates to Web3 as a whole. Like this community energy is just like so beautiful.
Fully agree. I mean, putting on VeeCon was no small feat, and I was extremely focused on doing that all the lead up to VeeCon, you know, because it was a combination of doing that and getting Series 2 live, which was also a really big feat with the raffle with book games and the collectible trading cards. There was a lot happening at one time with building both of those. But come Saturday at VeeCon, I like took my headset off and I'm like, let me just enjoy this, because I felt really safe now with like seeing the producers and the event coordinators in the places, and I felt like we had a really good rhythm. And I don't want to say I was blown away by the community, because I've grown to expect it. I just never ever try to take it for granted, because I've experienced it through Gary's content. You know, the level of gratitude and also like success and happiness that this community has is literally the greatest community in the world, in my opinion. You know, I never try to take for granted that I'm responsible for trying to build and create value for this community, because it's the singular best community that you could ever try to have to take that responsibility on for.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, man. And I think like, yeah, this year's going to be even crazy. VeeCon 2023. Like, I don't even know. Like, I'm literally so fired up. I'm leaving my job in April, so I'm going full time. Like, you know, going into that, it's just like, this year is going to be wild. That's all I can think about.
Yeah, man. And it's just the best, man. Like, I think cryptos and NFTs, can be labeled as like really male or have this bro culture, which I think to a degree there's a lot of work to be done for more diversity and inclusion within Web3. But VeeFriends specifically, I couldn't be more proud of the variety and different types of token holders we have. We have audiences in India and Taiwan and Australia, male, female. It's a really powerful community, and I'm excited to continue to build the IP and harness this IP with this community that we have behind us. That's the whole ambition, right?
Let's go. No, I'm fired up, and I agree with you, dude. I think like the diversity is really amazing to see. We're gonna move into inspiration. So I gotta give you flowers and just say like your story, what you're doing, the way that you carry yourself is so inspirational, man. And it's like to be able to watch you go and grind and like to meet you in person, it's just awesome. So I had to give you your flowers. We're gonna keep fucking writing. We can't stop. This first question is actually one of the best questions for sure. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta gas myself up. AJV said it was the hardest question he ever been asked. So like, listen,
Let's go.
What's one lesson in your life that you had to learn the hard way?
That loving yourself is the most important thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, you can be as successful as your wildest dreams or have everyone in the world love you. But if you don't really, really love who you are, what you're about, and what you wake up to every day, none of it will ever mean anything. And it'll be a facade. And like, you have to work on that. That's an internal conversation with yourself. And I learned that the hard way, through ebbs and flows of my own happiness and my own career. Sometimes you have to hit bottom to recognize what you want it to feel like when you're at the top, because regardless of where you are, you can still have that happiness,
Yeah, no, I agree. When do you think that like truly hit you? Like, do you have a moment where you were like, fuck, like this really, like I need to love myself more?
There was different episodes within my life. I think the final one was when I got out of a relationship maybe like 4 years ago. And through that is when I really recognized that I always will have to be my biggest cheerleader. And in order for that to happen, I have to have the hard conversations with myself and build a discipline. I love the quote that self-discipline is the ultimate freedom. If you create your own boundaries, then nobody else can control you. You are in control of your own destiny and your own freedom and your own happiness if you have the discipline to set it up for yourself.
100%, man. 100%. And I think like something else that's really important is like, you need to be 100% if you're going to go help someone too. Like, I think that's so important. It's like, take care of yourself, because for me, especially as a dad, as a husband, like if I'm not okay, like I'm not going to be able to help my wife, and I'm definitely not going to be able to help my kids and be there for them. So like focusing on that discipline and that balance and that happiness, I feel like is could be, if not the most important thing, but one of the most important things in life.
100%, man. How are you going to fill someone else's cup up if yours isn't full?
100%. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. Listen, what inspires you about Web3 to want to do it every single day?
The innovation and the opportunities. It hasn't been written yet. There's such an opportunity to pave the way for how people even think or perceive what Web3 is. It's an extreme opportunity to innovate and be creative and storytell and garner the respect and attention of millions of people because of that. And that's what excites me every day. And I feel like everyone at Veefriends, the company, understands that, that we really have an opportunity to storytell and innovate in a way that's only exists in moments in time. Like 5 years from now, the space will have seen a lot of stuff, and it'll be like, oh, remember when they did that, or when Veefriends did this, or Yuga Libs did that. It's just exciting. It's just really, really exciting to know that we're at the center of the center within the Web3 space and have a real opportunity to do dope ass shit.
Yeah. No, I love it, dude. And I think like it kind of is funny with like what we said earlier was like, if you take a day off, you take a week off, it's like this space is like evolving and wanting to do different things like every day, that it's like you take that time off and you don't know. And so that's like so cool to be a part of, that this moment in time is like, I just like every single day, you know, I was on a spaces this morning telling them like, I'm so grateful to even have this opportunity to be in a space. Like that is insane to me, that we're all here pretty much focused on the same thing to grow this thing. And I'm able to speak to people. Like that is just mind blowing to me.
It's perspective.
Yeah. I love it.
One out of every 3 people have never used the internet before.
Wow.
You know?
That's wild. That's fucking crazy.
And it's crazy, but it's and eventually, hopefully, not only will more people have the ability to gain access to the internet and use the internet, but the ownership of the internet will become second nature. You know, now it seems like a really foreign concept. You know, your kids, when they're in their teenage years, I can't imagine that owning the internet isn't like an everyday thing where you're not even trying to explain blockchain technology or what is an NFT. It's just assumed like, oh, I purchased this digital collectible or this digital asset, a skin to a game, a ticket that you just know that you own forever, and you can buy it, sell it, trade it, use it across different platforms and different games. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's actually like having 3 small children, like super exciting. Like I'm just fired up for them. And the fact that I'm even here is going to be able to like help them and see where they're at, you know, and they're in high school. It's going to be wild. Do you have an inspirational leader in your life or someone you've looked up to throughout your life? I feel like I know the answer to this, but I want you to talk about it a little bit.
I get my hard work from my mother. I get my, I would say, humbleness and gratitude from my father. And Gary continues to inspire me. You know, watching that man work, he works harder than anybody I've ever met. You know, and he really is the epitome of leaders eat last. You know, he puts in the work as much as anybody else, more than anybody else, because he knows ultimately the buck stops with him. And seeing that level of enthusiasm and passion and hard work and humility makes its way all the way down to the bottom from the top. You know, and I really believe everything within a company stems from the top. How I operate and talk and think and interact with Veefriends employees is how they interact and operate and think with each other. And ultimately, almost everything that I do and think and feel and vibe comes from the man himself, Gary Vee.
Yeah, that's fucking dope. Has there been a time where like, I feel like, has there been a time in your let's say just your Veefriends journey where you just like were like, let's fucking go? Like you had a point where like I got Gary fired up on that Spaces. Like, have you had a moment like that where like you were just like you were fired up? Have you had a moment like that?
The 2 ones, I would say, the day we sold out Veefriends, I met up with Gary later that day, and I was like, let's fucking go. Because it was a fucking journey, man. That shit started like March, starting concepting it, making the images, figuring out how we were actually going to build the website. We didn't have a developer. We didn't have an NFT contracting team. We didn't have a design team. You know, we had a lot of capabilities and resources, but we had to go figure out, you know, how to put the pieces to the puzzle together. Then launch was delayed. Then we launched. Site was working. We weren't sold out yet. It was trickling down. We sold out. Dab Gary, I was like, let's fucking go, man. We did that shit. And then probably I was more emotional. I cried. VeeCon wrapped. I went backstage. I think it's in his Daily Vee. You can see it. I saw Gary and his parents, and I took Gary and I just started crying. We had just put in so much work and effort to put on the conference and do, like, it was just the magnitude of everything that we had just gone through for the last year just came crumbling down from my heart and brain and emotions. And it was exciting though, because I at that moment in time too, I felt like we had figured it out, meaning we had laid the groundwork now, and establish what VeeCon is, what Veefriends is, what this community is like, what we're about, what we're going to build in the future, to set us up for more successful VeeCons, for more successful events, and more successful, brand building and community building.
Let's go. I love that, dude. I appreciate you sharing that. And I think it's beautiful. Just a beautiful moment of hard work. And to hear you say, let's fucking go, that was fired me up. I mean, like, listen, like these last two questions, I didn't have scripted. How fucking dope's VeeCon 2023 going to be? Like, it's just going to be wild. Like, it's going to
be so fire, man. Yeah. Like, I think it's going to be really cool because there's going to be a lot of synergy from familiar faces now. Post VeeCon 2022, I feel like relationships have furthered just because of spaces and Discord, and everyone is starting to get familiar with each other, and that would be dope. Just like catch up and like go to see a keynote or an entertainment together. But I'm excited for the new faces and the combination of the new faces, hopefully new to Web3 and NFT faces, people that are getting their NFT for the first wallet set up for the first time so they can get the ticket, so they can come to the conference, is really exciting. And then VeeCon is just not like any other conference. When you have a combination of like popular culture and entertainment and evening performances mixed with 100 different speakers talking about business and innovation and technology and entrepreneurship, it's a real opportunity to come away with new ideas. My favorite thing from events or trips or vacations or holidays, I think they all have the same effect, which is you come away with like a different lens on the world a little bit. If only for 24 hours, the same piece of paper that you were looking at before you came to that event looks different. You're sparking a different energy, a different idea, a new way about thinking about your day to day, which is the value and can, I believe, lead to like really meaningful results in your personal and professional life.
Oh, I absolutely agree. And I love that. And I love the flight back home is like my favorite thing, dude. Just writing so much notes, ideas. I started this podcast immediately the week after VeeCon, because it fired me up when Gary gave that positivity speech I think it was on Sunday. And I was just like, I need to do more. I was like, I have this energy. Like I literally have to do more. And like, it's led me to it's the connections that I've been able to make on this podcast alone. And the memories are just unbelievable, to be honest. And the value that I've been able to gain by just like having the most incredible people on this podcast is the most beautiful thing.
Good on you for starting, man. One of my biggest tips to anybody, my challenge rather, would be for anyone who comes to VeeCon this year and learns something and debates doing something new, would be to just do it. To start. Like the value of you starting this podcast, you've learned so much, I would presume. You're on episode 45. Aside from the guests and all that shit, you've learned how to produce and set up a podcast. You can do that for somebody else now. You've learned how to be a better interviewer. You've learned what questions resonate with people. There's so much action. There's so much learnings from action versus 7 other versions of yourself right now would be still debating on the fucking logo and typeface for what they want to call the podcast.
Yeah, no, for real, man. And that is the best advice, is to just do it. Like, that's what I say with my gratitude day videos, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm at 369 now, and it's just like, I just do it every day. Like it's embedded into me. And I've had, Gary's done one with me. AJ did one with me. Like I fucking love to get one with you. You know what I mean? Like, but like just those experiences are like, that wouldn't have happened. Like I wouldn't have got a video saying what Gary Vee was grateful for on day 95 if I wasn't fucking doing gratitude days. Like I wouldn't have inspired someone to be more grateful if I wasn't doing gratitude days. Like, and it's like, it really fucking is hard, but like, it's just like, you just start to do it. And then it's exactly what you said, dude. The value that I'm getting for myself is 10X. I want to get sponsored on the podcast for sure. Big time goal, but like, I don't even know if I care, like, to be honest.
Well, it's such a contradictory, but that's the best way to get sponsored. Because by doing anything other than that, you're going to play to a version that's not true to yourself, and people will sniff it out. You have to like be yourself and provide value. The end. And value is not for the sponsor. Value is for the listeners of this podcast.
Yeah, true.
And it sounds like cliche and like tried and true, but it's the fucking truth. And it's difficult. That's why Gary always talks about like block out the noise and just get real cozy within your own head, because everything else is going to steer you in a direction that's not going to be truthfully authentic, your story, which only you know how to tell.
100%, dude. And I'll never forget, like, this was a funny one. So, like, obviously I'm in my backyard. I do it out back because my kids are, one, too loud, and two, most of the time I do them at night when they're sleeping. And I did a Ryan Carson one. I don't remember what episode it was, but it was like 20 degrees. I don't even know how cold it was. I was in like 7 layers. I had a heater on. And it was, you could see my breath. And it was, when we started, it was 5 a.m. So it was dark. And the light came out, and he stopped me and he was like, "Are you outside right now?" And I was like, "Yeah, dude, like, I don't have an office. Like, this is it. This is Gentle T right now, dude. The guy with kids outside in his backyard grinding." And like, I wouldn't change that for anything. It was like the best thing ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that, man.
Let's fucking go. Okay, the last question under inspiration is, what is your favorite inspirational movie?
Man, favorite inspirational movie. I love Remember the Titans. That movie's so fucking sick, man.
Let's go.
When I can't remember the two characters' name, Julius and
Strong Side.
Strong side, left side, strong side. So good.
Yeah.
Rudy is also up there.
Yeah. Dude, Remember the Titans is my favorite inspirational movie. So I literally could run through walls after watching that movie.
My high school was actually in that movie. The Titans, when they played like shit, but they still won. They play the Herndon Hornets, and you check the scoreboard, and it's actually outside my high school. It's a fun fact.
No way.
Yeah,
That's
T.C. Williams.
Dude, that's crazy. That's so sick. That shit to me is so sick for me because I've loved that movie since I was 5. So then to come to this point where I interviewed you to have your fucking high school, like, that's so sick. Anyways, okay, listen, let's move on to positivity.
Eric Zetterson is the CTO of Veefriends.
Okay.
And it just made me think about it, because sometimes I'm on calls with him and I'm just like, I can't believe fucking I work with Eric now. It feels, I get weird and emotional sometimes, because I never in my wildest dreams would imagine that him and I were working together at this company. He just randomly tweeted or texted me like April 2021, like, "Hey, I saw Gary tweet, you need a web developer. Haven't talked to you in years. Hope everything's well. My friend actually shared me this tweet, and I just wanted to reach out because I'm bored at the bank right now." He had a really high-level job overseeing security at US Bank. But it's just cool, like life and taking shots and actions, and you never know what a hello will do now or 15 years from now.
Dude, that's wild. Yeah, that is so sick, man. I literally love that, for sure. I love that, man. So obviously I'm on a mission to make positivity louder. Thanks to Gary for lighting a fire under my ass, but I'm really serious about it. And I'm starting a foundation this year to get into teen mental health, get into high schools and stuff, and really stem from there and start positivity there. But what we talk about in this segment is very simple. It's just about positive mindset. And the basic definition of positive mindset is focusing on the good in any situation. It doesn't mean you're delusional, right, to the real world, because there's all kinds of stuff every single day, but it means you focus on the good. So can you tell me a little bit, Andy, about your positive mindset and how that has helped you throughout your life and helps you maybe every day?
To me, it's just about keeping perspective. Like, again, I said a third of the people on the planet have never used the internet before. I think 1/10 the population on this planet doesn't have clean water. I'm in New York City working for an aspiring global IP company with an extreme amount of abundance. I don't have anything to complain about. And I try to meditate and believe that, like, of course I have a bad day. Of course, like, something wrong happens, whatever. But if I can really just maintain that perspective, like, God dang, I have it really good. I'm so grateful and so blessed. Like, my family's healthy, my brothers are healthy, Gentle Tornado's still tweeting, sharing positivity. Like, everything's good, and I think it's allowing opportunities for you to just have those refresh. While it's like taking a walk, riding a bike, exercising, meditating, having time carved out of your day to be able to reflect or get a clean head, I think is your responsibility as a human.
Yeah, No, that's huge, man. I think you're 100% right. I mean, do you have a what's it like a routine? Like, do you have a morning routine or a night? I remember you joined a spaces maybe where you came off of yoga. Is that
Yeah.
common? Yeah.
Yoga is big for me. Exercise is big for me. Every morning I try to do a little breathing exercise. Wim Hof. I do Wim Hof's breathing exercise. If anyone know that guy, and I always try to get at least like 10 minutes of exercise in, whether it's just bang out 10 minutes of push-ups or sit-ups or stretching or go for a run. It just helps me level set and feel happy and healthy.
Let's go.
Cold showers too. I'm a fan of.
Cold showers. Listen, I love cold showers, but I can only do 2 minutes at the very end. I can't do like.
That's good. Every time you shower?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Every time I shower, and 2 minutes cold, vibes, get the day going, pump it up, put on a little J. Cole, we're good to go.
Yeah, let's go, dude. Man, Cole, bro, literally Cole World came out. That album came out when I was in my first year of college football. That we literally used to listen on that on fucking repeat. So I vibe with that, and I feel like, I had Pons, who's the founder of the Frogs, come on, and he was like, "Listen, I can't do it when it's cold outside." I said, "Dude, I've done it when it's 30 degrees outside, and I feel I'm warm when I get out of the shower."
It's actually the best way. If you want to stay warm during the cold season, you actually take a cold shower because it helps your blood flow and it gets blood to your extremities, your fingers, your toes.
I love it, dude. I love the feeling after. I don't like it while I'm in it, but if you focus on breathing and you stay calm, then when you're out of the shower, you just feel like
if I ever make it out of the city and I join you in having a podcast out in my backyard, I got to get a cold tub. That's the next step in our cold therapy treatment.
Yeah,
jump in that ice tub. That's a different type of cold.
That's tough. Serious, dude. I'm not gonna. That's like I got mad respect for people that do that. Like, you got NATO's respect, 100%. If you got a tub outside, listen, I don't know if I can handle that. Because, like, to be honest, my son might fuck around and jump in that bitch and be like, "Daddy, like, I love this." I'm like, "No, dude, I don't think you're old enough." You know what I mean? All right. Let's go to enthusiasm. Also a huge thing for Gentle T. I've had energy since I was a kid, so I love enthusiasm, man. We got one life, you know how it is with Gary. What are 3 things right now in your life that you can't get enough of? 3 things you're obsessed with.
Veefriends. Cheering for my friends. I've tried to focus more and more on being a cheerleader for my friends. It just feels good when I've reflected when people do that for me and how nice it makes me feel. People keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing, bro. So proud of you. And I've tried to put more emphasis on doing that for other people. And my health and fitness. I'm excited to just continue to dial that in and just be as fit as possible.
I love that. And I think that my favorite thing that you said was the support thing, man. Like, I think there's so many different ways that you can show support for someone in the world, whether that be through a text message, through a call, through just, being around them with good energy, telling them you love them. I think it's so important, man, to just, even if you just shoot a text to someone, you're just like, "You're killing it," or I'm happy for you. Like, those types of things mean so much to someone most of the time. Yeah, dude. And especially now, like on Twitter Spaces, where you can just go in and be like, "You are just absolutely crushing it," and they can hear you say that. That is just something else, man. It's something else.
I love the quote, whatever you think the world is withholding from you, you are withholding from the world. And I think a lot of people, it's when you see the world with what you're lacking, you experience lack. And I think a lot of people are asking, like, why don't I have this? Or why don't I get this? Or why don't I receive this? And if they would take it one step deeper and ask themselves, are you actually giving it? Why don't I get attention? Where you're actually giving out attention? Are you actually giving something first? And then if you can flip the script on it, I think good things will generally always happen.
That is a banger, dude. Oh man, that is a banger. Gave me goosebumps out here, dude. I love it. Listen, okay, so there's 2 more questions on enthusiasm. I feel like we already answered the first one, so I'm going to ask you the second one. besides those two VeeFriend moments in Web3, what is a moment outside of that is your most exciting moment in Web3? Do you have one, or were those it?
Most exciting moment in Web3.
And or the other question was the biggest accomplishment of your life.
I mean, Series 2, most exciting for me was when Series 2, I would say, sold out, just because, again, the technical and creative undertaking to get that done in the time frame that we did was remarkable, honestly. I mean, we were a small team then, too. Veefriends now is upwards of 50 employees. At that time, we were 13.
Wow.
Like, we were going,
yeah.
you know. And so I'm just extremely proud of it. And it took the entire army, you know. And the reason we were able to get it done is because I had extreme trust for everyone. You know, it was like, here's this thing, go, I'll see you tomorrow. And then we come back. So I'm just really proud of that. The thing I'm most proud of in my life. Yeah, I mean, it's clear. I'm just proud of who I am today on this fucking podcast with you. It took me a long time to fucking get here. I'm 34. I've been working fucking my ass off. I was an intern at 25 and I made $7.25 an hour with a college degree from Virginia Tech. All my friends literally they thought I was a loser. Like, actually, I was making minimum wage in New York City, sleeping on my brother's couch when everyone else was at like Goldman Sachs or a law firm or making more money than me. And they're like, you're working with this dude, Gary Vee, the wine guy, and you're making minimum wage. But I just had extreme conviction, and I had extreme conviction that I knew what I didn't want to do, which was almost everything that the world was trying to make me do, my parents included. And I just believed in myself that I was going to be hardworking, ambitious, creative, and just rely on my intuition to guide the way.
Dude, let's go. That might be the best part of the whole podcast right there, to be honest. You got fired up, and I was fired up. Like, the fact that you then were on a journey and then you found to love yourself, and now you've gotten to where you're at is like just a testament to conviction and your gut and staying committed.
And now it's a challenge because now I know the recipe. Like, in my hardest of hearts, I know the fucking recipe. And Gary is a huge reason for that. Like, I've watched him for 9 years now. I really know the recipe for success. A combination of like self-awareness, and hard work. And like, I have a lot of expertise to draw on now over 9 years of growing and building GaryVee. And I'm really, really excited and passionate about where Andy, can help steer Veefriends. You know, I don't think I'm going to play the part in doing so, but I'm definitely going to play a part, and I want to play as big of a part as possible because I feel like it can leave a real legacy for myself and for future generations.
Let's go. Oh my gosh, let's go. I'm fired up. Listen, the last question on the podcast. I fucking love this part, okay? When I first created this question, I did not think it was going to go well. I'm not going to lie to you, but I love it. So what I'm going to ask you is the dream that you have for your life. And I'm going to read to you my dream that I have for my life. And then you're going to, off the heart, right, straight from your heart, you're going to let me know what the dream you have for your life. So I'm Gentle Tornado. I'm an honest, enthusiastic, and successful man that will inspire others to live their life through happiness.
I'm Andy Kranak. I'm a passionate, curious, creative man who wants to leave a legacy of giving to his family and friends and the people that know him.
Yes, dude. Oh my, I almost threw my computer through the wall right there. Let's go. Oh man. All right, listen. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna read you my favorite poem. This means the absolute world to me. I think you're gonna like it. It's called The Dash. It says, I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who love them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash?
Let's go.
Let's go, dude.
That's
Absolutely
it.
love it. Yeah. Your dash, dude, the legacy. It's kind of like what you just said in your dream, man.
Yeah, man.
Love it. I love it. Listen, so how we end it is you get to leave the audience with one final statement. It can be whatever you want, and then you get to ask them a question.
My statement is a dream is a powerful thing. And my question is, what's the one thing holding you back from living your greatest, being your greatest self?
Let's go. Let's go. I love it. I love it. Listen, this has been Hype Happy Hour, episode 45 with my guy, Andy. Absolute legend. This is a banger. Andy, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Hype Happy Hour, episode 45, Gentle Tornado, tuning in. Let's get it.
Let's go. Listen, like, follow, retweet, whatever. Share this with someone that it'll help for reals. That's what I care about. Love you guys. Peace.